Yeah. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Feel my heart, it's beating. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beating. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. 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 I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. Feel my heart, it's beating. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beating. Oh, my body's breathing. It's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. 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 I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall.
Our inside here, you get an insight and you know something, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love. You say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. You say you wanna cry, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose. I don't know what you want. Let's have a bit of fun till I downfall. My love, if you feel like I do right now, don't say you're on the run to the other side. My love, you say you wanna try, but you never do. Sugar, there's a reason why we lose.
It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from Peyton. It's just going to solidify everything for Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC with the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Laura, is going to be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Amblin immediately goes back to fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to CGL, where we have a great matchup in our NA Open tier as Vicious Unforgiven plays Monolith here tonight for our Saturday night action. I am Dextron. I'm joined here tonight by Megan Indra. Man, how are you doing here tonight?
I'm doing really good. I'm pretty excited for this one. I was here yesterday for Lindenwood Academy versus Diva, but I mean, it was a really good match, and so I'm hoping that this one can hold the weight of the last one that I casted.
Yeah, and we did have some action a little bit earlier today with our friends across the pond in the EU, and that one, well, it was a 3-0 victory for SCR Sentence as they took down Pibble Platoon there. So hopefully we get a little bit more action here tonight in our North American bout. But when you look at these two teams, as you do see that game I just talked about right there, SCR Ascendants taking down Pibble Platoon in 3-0 fashion, a straight sweep. However, like I said, Vicious Unforgiven Monolith in this NA Open tier. Currently, both these teams sitting 6th and 7th in the standings right now. And with only 9 teams here in the playoffs, you have to imagine that maybe it's the top 8, maybe it's the top 6 that make it here. So this game could be very important for both these two teams for later down the line, because there's only one more week after this week.
Yeah, and I'm looking at these rosters, and they go pretty deep. Both of them have around 10 players at the availability. So, they definitely have the potential to get a lot of adaptability in. As we do know, the meta has been kind of getting defined more and more each day that passes. We've been seeing a lot of the Diva. We've been seeing the Zarya Vendetta kind of falling away a little bit, but I think it's still pretty good. But of course, this is the open division. So you can kind of play anything that you really want to. You can kind of do whatever's comfortable for you. And so I'm hoping to see some interesting compositions. I'm not necessarily going to say that I would be opposed to a Diva mirror. Absolutely not. I think that Diva mirrors are always really skill expressive. But throw some mix in. Let's get a Ramatra going, right, guys? Let's get a Winston going. I think that happened today, right, with Dallas Fuel.
Yeah. So did Ryan. Ryan definitely happened as well.
True.
Today in OWCS. But with every series this week, we start off with the control map, and this week it will be Oasis, our first map here tonight. And Megan and Joe, I mean, this is a map, you always look at all the control maps saying that they are very open to saying compositions, you can play anyone here, but I feel like Oasis, you normally do see a lot of teams just gravitate towards, most of the time, dive on this map. Yeah, University is a little bit more brawly, but still, dive, something like that Diva, something like a Winston, a Wrecking Ball even, could find a lot of value here on this map.
Yeah, I think that Oasis, out of all the control points, probably behind like Ilios, definitely do favor dive compositions the most. They love running something like the Diva. The Winston is playable on Oasis, but yeah, of course, that inside map, the inside sub map of Oasis does favor the more brawl heavy comps. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see an entire compositional swap when we get to that, if we get to that, of course. But I think that it allows a lot of things to be open, but yes, it does kind of funnel these teams into kind of that Diva composition that we have been seeing so often as of recent.
Yeah, I mean, D.Va is strong at the moment. You still see a little bit of Zarya as well. Winston, like you said, has gone playing time. Domina, I would probably say, is that next tank there that's getting a decent amount of playing time here as well. Malga has even started to pop their head back up, much to the dismay of a lot of people. I understand Malga might bring back up some memories that no one really wants to remember, but different hero at this point in the game. However, bans now are about to come in through both teams. Looks like Vicious could be getting the first ban here, and especially for a map like this. Like I said, it's very open, but dive heavy could be the way you're seeing both these teams go. Who would you expect to see going out here? Do you think we're going to see a little bit of a drastic ban or a little bit of a safe one here to get everything started?
You know, I always look at the control map as kind of a testing the waters kind of map. It's kind of to try to figure out what kind of compositions your opponent likes to go. So I think that you can... Okay, wow, that was a very quick ban. It is going to be Tracer that's taken out of the equation, which I think is a good... I think it's a good ban. Tracer, definitely one of the more commonly picked, kind of stronger flex DPS at the moment. You know, you have somebody like that Vendetta, or that, you know, sometimes we'll see a Venture, of course. But I do think that Tracer or Vendetta is pretty often the flex DPS choice. So now if I'm on the side of Monolith, I'm looking at these tank and I'm looking at these supports and I'm thinking, what do I take care of? And you can think of maybe getting rid of the D.Va. You could maybe, if you're not comfortable running that Kiri Lucio backline that has been so dominant right now, maybe you can take out that Lucio, make the game a little slower for your pace. But I would lean more towards a more common ban, like maybe the Zarya, the D.Va, maybe throw in a Kiri or a Lucio ban. Those would be my 4 guesses. But we could see something unconventional here.
Yeah, and basically the 4 heroes that you mentioned, I would normally say those are just safe bans. You make that ban map 1, it's pretty safe. You know both teams are going to probably end up playing it here anyway. Force someone off it there. And normally you might see that same ban happen map 2 just because, like, hey, maybe one team found a lot of success not playing that hero. However, like you said, I think D.Va, if you're going to go tank, might be the way to go here. This is a very good map for D.Va, as most maps are right now for her. And that opens the door back up to something like a Zarya, maybe even something like a Ramatra that could come out here. Kiri Lucio, like I said, you could always just see either one of them get banned out. Very meta at the moment. Very meta at the moment now for the past 6-8 months. So they aren't necessarily the biggest reaches, but they are just very safe here. Monolith, though, on the timer here. I mean, yeah, I think you just play it safe here. Maybe go after one of those support heroes.
Yeah, and something else that I kind of did consider for a moment, but it seems like too strong of a ban for it to be an option, was that Tracer was actually a protect ban. I thought that might have been the case, but I think taking the Tracer off the board is a pretty risky play. It means like your flex DPS, you're a little afraid of taking that Tracer 1v1. I mean, not necessarily a critical part, but I mean, getting that Tracer upper hand is something that's really okay. Remember how I said feeler map? That is a feeler ban.
Yeah, this definitely feels like a ban they made because they didn't expect either team was going to play it, and they didn't really want to get rid of a tank, and they didn't really want to get rid of a support either. I mean, we have seen this kind of ban come out in CGL and OWCS and Face It League before, and it's gone both ways, with working very well or absolutely backfiring on the team. But these are your bans.
Yeah, I mean, pretty nice. We can look at the rosters real quick. Vicious, Unforgiven, having Sinister Squid, Sunless, Lucas, Soggy Moist, and Giraffe Man, while Monolith has Smocktober, I want to say, R7, DM4 Boosts, and then Blind and Shiro. Pretty good lineups that look to be, I'm gonna say equally skilled. Of course, I don't know that as we haven't gone in yet, but if I had to guess, I'd bet that both these teams are gonna put up a really good fight for us.
Yeah, they should. Like I said, both these two teams sitting towards the bottom half of the standings right now, 6th and 7th, respectively here. And like I said, I don't know if it's the top 8 here in Open or the top 6. So this game could go a long way here for determining who could get maybe that final playoff spot here. Monolith does come into this game 4-2 on the season, while Vicious comes into it 3-3 here. But coming out of the gate, wow, okay, Vicious might actually be coming out here with a Reinhardt. Mega, do you wanna take the bait?
I never take the bait. I never fall for it. I always get so joyous and so happy. It's like taking candy from a baby whenever I get my hopes up.
How because about
like we'll see. You know, 5 seconds left. No, wait, he's not He's not stopping moving. He's going. Okay, so we're gonna see a hog.
Explain to us the comp really quick here for Monolith.
Yeah, I can explain it. Double hit scan with a hog and an Ana Lucio backline. This comp is
You could describe this as triple hit scan, basically.
I could. Huh. Okay. A little bit out of left field here, but we'll have to see how Monolith, acts.
You know what? It's going to work out great. They already took care of Sinister Squid. Smooked over. They're going to be immediately taken out there by Lucas. The hook not going to be able to land there from DM4, but now they're just being pressured out here by Lucas. R7 trying to make sure they keep their hog alive here, but not getting the necessarily healing, and Giraffe Man will take him out. Vicious Unforgiven, though, gets the first cap, but you will find Giraffe Man on the way out.
Yeah, a really good play there from Vicious Unforgiven. Kind of, I think it, just like us, I think it might have stunned him a little bit seeing the composition that Monolith ran out on. But we are going to see a Diva swap immediately from DM Boost, which I think is a good call here, and we'll have to see if they can re-engage onto the point correctly, as the boosters are going to be used to engage onto that backline here. And let's see if they can find any value.
Right now, the Divas just going at each other right now. Lucas has to just immediately duck down, get that large health pack. Not going to be able to come back up through the hole right there. Instead, it's going to be DM4 getting knocked out of their mech. Shiro, they're going to be able to find Giraffe Man to get everything going the way here. Monolith, but Lucas comes right back into the fight. Takes care of Shiro. So all even Stevens right now, but Vicious playing down support. However, Monolith just backing out. An interesting play.
I think it's a smart play. It is a 4v4 situation, but you want to make sure that you have all 5 for a re-engage. You cannot afford to stall out the objective as any more than you need to, especially with how behind you are in terms of the point percentage. But now they're going to re-engage here as 5, and this should be a more even, clean fight.
It seems there's a little bit of miscommunication there from Monolith, because DM went back to swap momentarily to the Doomfist, back over now to the Diva here. R7 also makes a swap here to the Kiri instead, so both teams running the same backline. Actually, it's just a straight mirror match now. Giraffe Man, though, going to be able to get that D-Mech there on the DM4, and I mean, Monolith, this is not necessarily a start you were looking for here. Vicious Unforgiven has really just... I mean, they played great so far, but they've really just benefited so far from Monolith. I think just making some minor mistakes here early on.
Yeah, and now look at this ult advantage. Vicious Unforgiven has everything, and they're going to use every ultimate they have.
Ajax!
Completely. Was it actually?
Yeah, Smooktober did not get that beat off right there. Oh God, if there's a round you ever want to forget about right there, that might be it for Monolith, because that was rough. That was just rough all around.
I mean, they actually kind of wanted to play a real, they started off on this like kind of silly, goofy comp, which it was fun for a fight, but then they stayed on it for too long. I can't believe that happened. But I mean, they stayed on this kind of silly, goofy comp at the very beginning, but then they should have swapped it up a little bit once they were going to be like, okay, now I'm going to go over to the Diva. But then they were just too behind in terms of ultimates, right? Vicious had just everything in the back pocket, and they just kind of collapsed on Monolith, who wasn't really ever able to get a really clean fight happening. So now we're going to see a Zarya swap here for that Reaper, and we'll have to see if Monolith is going to be able to come out on top because of it.
I mean, normally you look at the Zarya swap coming out here, and it should be something that really provides them a lot of just better, head-to-heads, especially against Lucas here, since DM could just be able to get constant damage in on them. But Vicious Unforgiven just playing this high ground, doing a really good job of forcing Monolith back into this one area here. Point's going to open up here momentarily as each team waiting for the other one to really make that first mistake, as I believe now Lucas on the low ground going to go right back up to the high ground and start raining in some damage. But that is why you play the Zarya. You get the D-Mech right there, already highly charged, and now Monolith, after a weird first round, they're going to be able to look like they're going to win this first fight and get the cap.
Yeah, really good play there from DM Boost, getting a nice 3K on the way out in order to secure the point capture. I mean, it's just so difficult to deal with Zarya when you're on that Diva, and we are going to see Lucas swap over, but now they're going to be behind in terms of ult charge, right? DM has 50% to a grab, while Lucas is only going to be 17%. So you need to get some kind of ult charge. You need to take a quick fight here if you are the side of Vicious. Otherwise, Monolith can build up these ults and kind of do exactly what happened in them last round.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're already doing the exact same thing. Like you said, they're just playing that high ground, already forcing Vicious. Unforgiven back now blind. Going to be able to find Lucas on the way out. And a huge pick right there. Now trying to find a couple more staggering picks. However, they don't finish off Giraffe Man, who's going to be able to escape. And Sinister will actually be able to find R7. However, Shiro going to be able to shut them down. But Trey just going back and forth here. And honestly, if you're Monolith, you might just want to back out of this one here.
Yeah, they do win the fight, but it was kind of, you know, life heavy. They do lose 2 of their players, and now Vicious can kind of re-engage at their own speed. They don't take the high ground, though, which I think is a little interesting, but Monolith, the flip comes through, and so now Monolith has to, you know, disengage and go back in with all 5 players.
Yeah, I mean, Monolith had to just kind of fall back. They gave it that point flip for free here. They have the ultimates to come right back in very quickly here. Overclock, and now the grab beat out as well here. Monolith heavily investing, but you lose DM early on. However, that's going to be probably the only pick you see go the way of Vicious Unforgiven here as Blind finds 3 in the fight.
Yeah, but look at how expensive it was for Monolith, right? Vicious haven't used an ult, right? And Monolith just popped 3 ults, and they've swapped to Reinhardt. Is that Kellen? So this is going to be a little bit of a hard hold for Monolith here now, as Vicious can kind of just go in with their own ults. They can just kind of rush this objective down and secure a flip.
Considering rush now out here from Vicious Unforgiven as Lucas goes straight ahead. The Amp Matrix, though, leading to 2. The Death Blossom will find 1, but a costly fight there for Vicious as 3 ultimates invested into that one all get essentially shut down by a Fire Strike.
Oh, they had everything. They had so much ult advantage, and now they're in a downwards trajectory as they have just a beat to contest with a Blossom, but I mean, it's 85%, and Draftman was so slow to build this. I don't know if you're going to be able to do anything once this beat has been popped. Like, how do you win the fight afterwards?
You also gave up grab here. Lucas made the swap here to this D.Va Sunless, so going to be able to find Blind there, who's been a constant problem in these last couple fights. Now, Shiro going to be able to trade out, but you lose your BAP here if you're Monolith. Sinister, I mean, this looks like a good re-engagement here for Vicious. They got the point cap, and now you're just going to see DMs go off the map as Lucas waves them goodbye.
Yeah, but look, there's nothing on the side of Vicious. What, their closest is Bomb at 42%? They're so broke. They're in the Great Depression of the 20s. Monolith, yes, they're also broke, but Blind is 68% to an overclock. You can kind of just farm that. You can allow a little percentage to go the way of Vicious in order to build up your ults that you are ahead on.
And now DM, again, just immediately counter-swapping here over to this Zarya, again, as Lucas now goes back over to the D.Va here. This is going to be very interesting early on here. DM needs to get high charged up here pretty quickly, already at 60%, almost getting rid of Sinister here as the support there for Vicious, doing a really good job keeping their Reaper alive here as they slowly start to chunk their way up to another Death Blossom. 67% and counting here now for Vicious as Monolith just starting to fall back here, but almost getting rid of Sinister, who will eventually shut down Blind, who has just kind of struggled these last couple fights.
DMEC coming through, though, is going to be a really big problem, as now they have to secure this fight, but with the beat coming through, it's going to be so difficult for Vicious to get anything done. They're so behind. They don't have a lot of ults online just yet, but Sinister's good.
Oh my god! My goodness! A 4-piece for Sinister, and Monolith, which almost looked like a great comeback point for them, now is slowly falling apart as Vicious comes back in with authority, comes back, wins this point, and wins the map.
Okay, I was a little scared. I was scared. I was really scared for Vicious at one point because they were close to a lot of ults. They were like 80, 90, to pretty much all their ults except for the Reaper ult, which they had. And so I was worried that they were gonna, you know, be in a little bit of a pickle. But Monolith just not able to get that Reaper, and then they get the kill onto the Soj, and so it's a late overclock from them, and I mean they're just able to take it out of pretty much just ult rotations, and we do get to see that hog one more time on the Sinister Squid. But I mean, Vicious played incredibly well this first map, but it was not a clean sweep. It was definitely a little messy.
I mean, the first map was definitely clean for Vicious. Monolith, though, it seemed like they kind of let go of whatever they decided to do that first map and start playing comps that really didn't make sense, and they looked great on them. And you did see one of Vicious players say, you know, cornball counterwatch, I believe, there. But that's exactly what Monolith was doing, especially on that second point. Just counter swapping almost any time they possibly could there. I mean, DM played the Rhine there for a little bit until they eventually died. Then they went right back over to the Zarya here. But I mean, Sinister Squid, that if they die right there, we're probably still in that first map.
We probably are, honestly. Sinister Squid clutching up amazingly there with that 4K Reaper Blossom. I mean, that was pretty impressive, honestly. I was a little, because I was like, the Reaper's flanking, the Sojourn has overclock, it's the only ult Monolith has. I'm like, oh god, they're just gonna overclock and run over Vicious. But the Reaper flank into making sure that ult's not on the table, and then a 4K with just chef's kiss. Just chef's kiss from the Reaper.
Yeah, I mean, again, Vicious looked really good that first map. Like I already said, Monolith, that first point was just weird because it seemed like they were trying a lot of random stuff, hoping that eventually would work. But I think by the time they maybe settled down and said, okay, hey, we're going to play this comp into it, they were already so far behind that it was going to be a struggle for them even to come back in that point. They looked a lot better on the second point, but they just kind of let it fall through their hands there. I mean, they looked like the better team on that second point, but Vicious Unforgiven found ways to win fights, found ways to win that point. Yeah, granted, a 4K Death Blossom will do that in most cases, but you don't see it that often anymore, and hell, you really don't see Reaper that much anymore, but we saw both teams there really stick with the dual-wielding shotgunner.
I was really confused by the Reaper picks. Yes, I know the Tracer's taken off the table, and that's like the flex DPS choice. But then I was like, well, aren't they just going to play Vendetta? You know, that was my thought process. I think Vendetta's a stronger character than Reaper. But maybe that is just like a preference thing for both of these teams. Maybe they aren't Vendetta teams. You know, maybe they have more practice with a Reaper Zarya composition, which I don't really know why you'd have that given the current meta state. But I mean, maybe that's just something that they've been running, you know. So it's a little interesting to see that Reaper come out. I wonder if that'll make it, you know, now that the Tracer ban is no longer in effect, you know, I have to wonder now, is that Reaper ban going to come in at some point from one of these teams if they're not feeling confident in their flex DPS? And now I have to think about, if I'm Monolith, where am I taking this team, right? Because it was a weird set of tanks. You know, I can't be like, oh, well, you take them to a dive map because you can beat them in the dive, considering we rolled out on Hog, Doom, Diva, Zar, Rhine. So there was a lot of different tank choices for the side of Monolith, so it makes me a little confused about where I really want to take this team.
I mean, I think the Doom, we never really saw the Doom in any fight. It was just like, hey, I'm going to swap to it here and then immediately swap over to something else. But we did technically, I guess, see it, so you can count it. However, I mean, we did see Zarya and Diva. I think those are going to be probably the tanks we see throughout the majority of this series here. And right now, if you're going to be Monolith going to this next map, you can still ban out the Tracer here again if you really want to try to force that Reaper to be played here. Honestly, though, you might just get rid of the Diva because it seems like you just don't really want to deal with it, because you did see when they were playing Diva, it would just be M4 going over, or D4 going going straight over to the Zarya just to counter it out. They really feels like they want to play something a little bit more brawly, because we did see the Hog, we did see the Zarya, we did see the Rhine. It seems like they want to try to force you into brawl situations.
I mean, okay. Dexatron, will you allow me to cook here? Do I have your permission to go ahead and cook?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
What if Monolith, wanting to run that Reinhardt, take us to the home of Reinhardts? What if they take us to King's Row and just have a Rhine mirror?
I'm going to be honest, it'd probably be maybe one of the most predictable things that they could do.
Okay, you're a little right, but like, just give it to me. Just let me have this.
Keep cooking. It's not in the pool though, but keep cooking.
It's not in the pool. That's a good point. Okay. Okay, so I'm not taking them to Kings because I can't take them to Kings. Okay, let me cook a little bit harder then. We're going to Blizzard World. That was going to be my second guess. I was going to say that second, actually.
I was going to say, there is Midtown in the pool, which a lot of people do call Kings Row 2, essentially. But Blizzard World also kind of does play into Brawl a lot. However, I feel like it's more of a poke map overall. So you could see a lot of teams, or you could see both these teams gravitate towards poke, which is something we really didn't see in that first map from either of them.
I'm so sad Kings is out of the pool. But no, Blizzard World definitely going to be an interesting choice for a map. I think it does allow that Diva comps to be played, but I think you can run the Zarya if you're feeling like you want to do that. So now it kind of goes down to the bans, right? Do you want to disable that Diva composition? And Monolith gets first banned. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a Diva ban. I think that would be really, really smart out of them, considering how they played into it last time. take that Diva comp off of the board, force them to play something else. Maybe they want to run the Zarya mirror or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw that come through. Maybe a Reaper ban, maybe a Lucio ban. There's definitely options, but I think Diva is the #1 strongest. Yeah, it's going to be taken off the table. And now if I'm the side of Vicious, I'm banning. What am I banning here? What are you banning here, Dexatron?
At one moment before I talk about maybe what Vicious is going to ban here. Like I said, I think we both kind of agreed that maybe Diva was the smartest ban that Monolith could do here, because it really does seem like they want to play something brawly, and Diva is very much something that has been hindering them. I mean, you saw the Zarya, you saw the Ryan come out from them. They really want to try to be in your face rather than in your face for a moment and then flying back to safety of the team. So I think that's a really good ban here for Monolith. If you're Vicious, I mean, just, they're trying to maybe force something a little bit brawly here. Maybe you try to get rid of a support that goes with brawl. Maybe you try to get rid of something like that Vendetta here in case you just want to make sure you're not going to have to deal with it. The Brig, though.
The Brig is very interesting to me. Because I thought if you were on the side of Vicious, you want to slow down the compositions. You'd maybe take the Lucio off the board so they can't enable like a Reinhardt. But the Brig ban does not do that. It does the opposite of that, actually. So I'm scratching my head a little bit, but I've been scratching my head before, and teams have proved me wrong several times. As all, I'm just a caster, but I mean, maybe they can show us something.
It looks like we will have a sub here for Vicious Unforgiven going into this map. KBS is going to be coming in here and stepping out. I believe that was Squid. Or Sinister Squid, who, I mean, might be the reason they ended up really winning that last map there, but this is definitely because it is probably, comp related.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was just to take it out. Maybe put in the Tracer player that you have on your roster. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case at all. Now that Tracer's back in the mix, I wouldn't be surprised seeing that Tracer. Or maybe the Vendetta if you want to run the Zarya, but that is a composition from Monolith of all time.
And
double flex. Wow. Okay. Oh.
They're gonna stick with it too. Ooh.
Wait, the Weaver ban was a target ban?
It might have been. At this point.
Okay.
It might have been, but you look at what Vicious is playing here. Double hit scan, double flex DP support here. Monolith. Again, they want to play something brawly, and they are at least showing us brawl here again.
This is... Okay, a Lari Lifeweaver backline is definitely a backline of all time. We'll have to see how it plays out, as we do see a Bastion come out from the side of Monolith here. These are not picks that I personally would have made. I think Lucas on the Sig is fine. Also, double hit scan for Vicious is also kind of weird. But, we'll have to see how these teams perform as we get this round underway.
I mean, DM4 is kind of playing on their own here. Eventually, though, Vicious is just going to give up the high ground for free. However, Giraffe Man, you can pull Vicious back a little bit too late on that one, and now Monolith. I feel like it's just going to get off to a great start now. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a good trade, and so now it's a 4v4 situation. They can come back in if they want to, and they're not going to. They're not touching. Oh,
they got touched.
touching.
R7 going to be able to find Sunless here, but you do see Vicious coming back in, especially with Lucas coming back in on this ball. Sagi will be able to trade out blind, but still, if you're Vicious, you need to be keeping members on this point. DM now showing us a Doomfist for real this time, back into the fray almost immediately, as you see both the supports are there trying to keep Lucas alive. KBS, they're going to be able to shut down R7. Turret form coming out there from Shiro, who will immediately get shut down by KBS, and I mean, we didn't say KBS at all in that first map. They are making their presence known in the second one.
Yeah, really good plays out of KBS there. Just sitting on this high ground, making sure, my team's got the point. I don't need to worry about it. I'm going to do hit scan things, and I'm going to point and click at people. Or just, or trigger at people, depending on if they're on controller, of course. But, I think it was a really good play there from KBS, and it's a good hold, especially how down you were as Vicious. But now, I mean, 95.9%, you really can't afford to lose, anything.
You lose DM. I mean, you lose Sunless here early on as DM goes over to their third tank already here in about 2 minutes on this Orisa now, especially going up against the ball. It's going to be a little bit better. Tree out here from Giraffe, who will immediately lose their life right after that, and that's not going to be able to keep up both Lucas and Sagi. Monolith finally going to be able to break through here, cap this first point, and get the cart rolling here.
Okay, we do see some swaps now. Vicious gonna go... Oh, no, just kidding. I thought that... Okay, Luca's gonna go back over to the Sigma, which, you know, I think makes sense. They were going the ball for the touch, and then, you know, kind of were stuck on it. But look at... Oh my god, look at Monolith's ults. Look at Monolith's ults. They have both DPS ults, they have both support ults, and they're 80% to tank ult. Vicious have, what? Just to the Captive Sun and an Override Protocol? I mean, this is not going to be an easy fight for Vicious. You have to hope that you can kind of force all of these ults out from Monolith. Otherwise, I mean, Vicious could just kind of get steamrolled here if they don't play carefully enough.
Captain Sun out here pretty early on from Soggy. Gonna be able to land onto a couple, trying to find the burst. Gonna be able to get one there, but that immortality field from R7 gonna be able to keep everyone alive for Monolith. So one ultimate gone here now for Vicious. 5 on board for Monolith as they are probably just waiting their moment here to strike.
Oh, Lucas getting a nice pick onto Blind is going to shut down that ult before it can even come through. But now there's still 4 ults on the table. Vicious going to be, you know, in a little bit of a precarious spot here. They could try to bait out some of these ults. If they can just have them ult them and lose the fight without using any of their own, that would be a really huge fight. Like, even though it's a fight loss, it would, like, it's like lose the battle, win the war type situation, which is kind of what you're hoping for right now, considering the advantage that they have right now.
Yeah, but looks, the longer Monolith puts on these ultimates, the more opportunity they give Vicious here. They're coming up to 3 ultimates as well. Now the Override Protocol out from KBS, gonna be able to find 1, make it 2, trying to find a 3rd one. Heavy round coming out. They're not gonna be able to shut down DM, who will find Sunless, but still enough damage done to them. And Monolith again, still holding on to all 5 of these ultimates. Vicious Unforgiving, about to have 3.
This, okay, I was like, oh man, you force them to use ults. However, Monolith needs to press their Q button still. They have these ultimates, they can use them. Why not just go for a Terra Surge onto the high ground, run into that backline? You have the speed. Why not just go for a beat engage? You can window through main or something like that. There's several options and they're not using any of them. And, okay, just get...
Flux, though, coming out from Lucas, who the only person they would have landed onto would have been Blind, but KBS took care of them before they were able to go up into the sky. 1 ultimate gone now for Monolith, and you're able to immediately trade it out there. Lucas, though, going to be able to find R7 with the rock. However, DM maybe going a little bit too far forward, leaving the rest of their team in a spot that I don't think they can get out of. Soggy, though, running for their life, trying to just get away. They did a whole ring around the Rosie there, but eventually DM4 will send them back to the spawn.
It actually felt like a horror movie I just watched, where the horse is chasing down the innocent Alari. But I mean, they still only use the overclock. They have ults. You can just beat. They've wasted, like, they've had such a time bank, but now it's only 1:40, and you still have 4 of your ults. I'm honest to God saying, if Monolith had pressed Q already, they probably would have built another cycle of ults. So yeah, Vicious have been doing really well, but Monolith just needs to press Q. Vicious have 3 ults, and they've been not afraid to press Q and win some fights.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those moments where if you're Monolith, you have to just be kind of content with the fact that, like, hey, we're going to throw an ultimate out here. It's not going to find anything. We just want to try to trade something out. However, DM going in there, looking like they're trying to get the Terra Surge going, but you've already lost your support line. Tree, though, out here now from Giraffe Man as KBS going to fall here. I mean, still, if you're Monolith, you're getting ultimates out from the other side, but you're not using any of your own here.
They still have 45 seconds have passed and an ult has come through for Monolith, right? And so now you're getting into dangerous territory where you're going to be waiting for all of your ults for the longest of times. And Vicious is doing a great job cycling. They're back to having a Flux. Yes, they use the tree, but they have an Override Protocol also coming online. They're doing a great job of just cycling through their ults as best as they can, even though I'm not a big fan of the comp, double hits can plus Alari, and, you know, this is a poke comp at the very minimum, but a nice beat engage is going to finally allow Monolith to press the go button.
Flux coming out here, going to be able to land onto a couple. There's the Terra Surge as well, so now Sunless going to be throwing out their overclock. They will find one before eventually they fall here, but now 3 of those ultimates, or 2 of those ultimates actually expel here for Monolith. They're trading it out right now. Lucas trying to keep themselves alive, but Shiro going to be able to shut them down. However, hey, Monolith, you won the fight. There you go. You're on the card.
Okay. I got a little scared there myself. Okay. Monolith did use 2 of their ults to win the fight. That's a very good start. You still have 2 more in your back pocket, but they're not the strongest of ults. It's a Bastional and it's a BAP window. You're close to having that overclock, which is kind of going to be your win con for this next engagement. But Soggy Moist, if they get a nice Captive Sun, they can shut this down right here, right now.
spear coming out now. You do see that ball come back out here for Lucas. Sun, though, gonna be able to land onto a couple people. Will we see any burst? Looks like, yeah, we're gonna be able to find one as Smooktober falls. Now there's the artillery coming out from Shiro. However, Sagi gonna be able to find a second one with the Sun. KBS finding one with that override protocol. Now focusing in here on DM, who's not gonna be able to get back out to this cart in time. And Vicious Unforgiven. I mean, they played a great second point defense there. I just don't know if they played a great second point defense. I think Monolith just misplayed a couple of those, or a lot of those fights.
It's worse to hold your ult for the best opportunity than it is to throw out an ult and just get nothing, right? You don't have to go for massive play. Okay, guys, I'm gonna overclock when I see all 5 people at 1 HP. You don't have to do that. You can overclock and just look at the tank. It's not a big deal. You can try to go for smaller plays. You don't need to get those big, flashy 5-man shatters all the time. You can just throw ults out, get some space, get some positioning. In Monolith, they just weren't able to do anything despite having such a huge advantage in the beginning.
Yeah, and essentially, we just saw Vicious, that entire second point defense, just go ult for ult there. Anytime that Monolith would use an ult, Vicious would just respond back with one of theirs. And Monolith had the ult advantage throughout the majority of that second point push. They could have just kept on trading ultimates till when they had nothing that Vicious could have thrown out there, and they had all the advantage there. You saw the stats there, though, for that first round. Giraffe Man, I don't think had a kill, but man, they were still able to do a lot for their team there. However, I mean, if you are Monolith, you did get this first point, you did push it a decent amount there towards that second point. You could still very much win this map right now.
Yeah, it's not completely over for Monolith yet. There is a goal in sight for Vicious, but it is a little far away. But now this composition, we're going to go a little tried and true. The Kyrie Lucio backline with a flex DPS and 1 hit scan. The SIG is the only thing that it's not the most standard of comps, but I like Vicious on the more, traditional, comfortable picks. But we'll have to see how Monolith responds with a double hit scan comp of their own with a Ramatra this time.
I like it here a little bit. Sure, they're getting chunked down. The disrupting shot can be able to take them out here. And there goes a lot of your damage right now if you're Monolith. And look at Vicious already kind of cycling through the equation. Actually going to miss there as Blind just going to make the jump. However, R7 going to be able to throw that immortality field, but it'll not keep them alive. It'll not keep DM alive. And the only thing that Monolith's going to get this fight is that 1 grenade kill. But Vicious already capping this point.
I don't even know if they have a touch here. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to. And they're going to make some swaps over to the Alari Lucio. Hey, nice trade. Got his one. No, it's a little bit of an interesting backline here for Monolith now. Going with the Alari Lucio, definitely not a lot of healing output available with that composition. So you have to be a little careful, especially with having somebody like that Bastion who soaks up so much healing, soaks up a lot of damage. And also the Sigma Mirror is definitely going to be interesting. We'll have to see how DM can really play against Lucas's Sig as we do see them approaching this high ground.
Yeah, but you have to remember, though, Vicious Unforgiven played that entire last round with the Iari Lifeweaver backline and did a decent amount of job on it. I mean, we saw what Sagi was able to do on that Iari here, and R7, I think, could really match him here. But you already look at where this card is right now. Just look at all the attention that Lucas is giving to this high ground pressure for Monolith. But the card already more than halfway there. Very close. Flux now coming out from Lucas. Going to be able to find a couple. Actually, be able to find Shiro, which is a huge pick. Accretion, though, gets blocked out there. But Monolith very low on health. DM now trying to run for their life here. Overclock out from Sunless as Vicious really just looking to end this map here and now. DM out, Smook out as well. And that really should do it here, as I don't think there's going to be a single touch coming out from Monolith. Vicious Unforgiven kind of casually walks through this map.
Yeah, something else that I did notice is even though they were in a Sig Mirror, Lucas just did an incredible job of forcing that high ground and forcing people to look at him. And the second they stopped to look at Cart, he fluxed and killed 2. So it's such an interesting play, it's really smart of Vicious to realize, hey guys, by the way, this is not a team deathmatch game mode. We actually have to push the objective. So really good playing, really understanding what they need to do in order to secure the win. And so Vicious, Unforgiven, they look pretty dominant right now. And so now, I mean, Monolith, they're going back to having map choice and first ban. But, I mean, what are you going to change off of this versus the future, right?
I don't know, really, if you're Monolith, because, I mean, that first point on when they were attacking that first round, it looked good. They put Vicious in spots where they were getting punished. I mean, hell, this entire map started off with Lucas not being able to fall back fast enough, and Monolith taking huge advantage of it. And Vicious had to come back out. Yeah, they won a team fight to stop that first point from being capped very quickly there by Monolith, but it seemed like Monolith had finally found their footing in this series. They were able to shut down Vicious, and had a huge ult bank. They could have easily started going through, and then it all started to fall apart, as we kind of already highlighted a decent amount as it was going on there in that first round. But I mean, every time it feels like Monolith is finding their way in this series, it seems like they're kind of hindering themselves a little bit.
Yeah, it's just an unfortunate situation that they're given because of the fact that they just held onto their ults for so incredibly long. I mean, they sat on 5 ults for almost 2 minutes, and then they popped the OC. That's really cool and all, and then they hold their other 4 ults for another minute or so, and so the advantage they had with a quick first cap just kind of got squandered. So, you know, Monolith, I think if they can recognize this mistakes, it is possible for them to make a comeback. I think it's not an unreasonable thing to think about.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, we have seen Monolith be able to kind of actually put Vicious on their toes here. If they can just settle it down a little bit, make some smart plays, they could easily be right back in this series. But with that being the end of our second map, we're going to throw it over to a quick break, and when we come back, we could be seeing our final map of this series. So everyone, stick around. You're not going to want to miss it. right, welcome back everyone from this little break right here. Vicious Unforgiven up 2-0 on Monolith. So far, Vicious has played an incredible series. Monolith, though, they've shown us glimpses of hope this series. They now need to put all those glimpses together into one map to extend it here. I mean, Mega Ninja, this has been a really good showing here for this Vicious Unforgiven team. Me and you really talked about during the break. Monolith, they've shown us that they could beat this Vicious team. They just haven't been able to do it consistently, though.
Yeah, Monolith, their backs are against the wall now. They have map pick, they have first ban, but I mean, even if you win this next map, it's going to be such a daunting challenge for them, right? Because then Vicious Unforgiven get 2 map picks in a row, plus both first bans if they lose. I mean, Monolith has to put up an incredible performance in order to get the job done here today, but I think it's doable. It's not completely out of the equation, but the equation is incredibly hard to solve.
Yeah, the equation's getting into one of those long Division 1s with exponents that, dear God, why are we solving for Q when it's not even a part of the equation right now, but you might be figuring it out here in a little bit. However, we do know what our third and potential final map of this game will be. Monolith's final map selection. They're going to be bringing us over to Flashpoint as New Junk City is going to be the map.
Yeah, New Junk City, definitely more of the brawl type of maps. Definitely doesn't not favor. I mean, I'm not going to say does not favor the D.Va. I think every map favors the D.Va in the current state that she's in. But I think that this composition, you can run the Zarya. You can run, you know, screw it. Let's just go Reinhardt. Man, I think that, you know, this map allows more of the ground tanks to come out to play. But we'll have to see, you know, now the real question is what are the bans going to be? Because you've gotten rid of some pretty important bans already. You've gotten rid of a Kiri ban. You've gotten rid of... Wait, no, they didn't do a Kiri ban, did they?
No, Kiri hasn't been banned yet.
Kiri has not been banned yet? Is that... Oh, no, okay, well, no, it was the Life Weaver I was thinking about because that was a target ban. My fault. And also the D.Va ban and the Tracer ban. Those are all have come out, and so now... You know, what are you thinking about in terms of ban-wise? Maybe you look at the DPS. You can maybe get rid of the Emre that's been incredibly strong against you. The Sojourn, potentially. Maybe the Sigma.
There's a decent amount of options. Sigma probably not on New Junk City. I feel like maybe one of Sigma's worst maps here. You could definitely play it. You could definitely try it. I don't think it's going to be that. I mean, you could go back over to that support line, maybe get rid of Lucio here, maybe get rid of something like the Iari. I think you could still play Iari on this map. But no, it's going to be the Kiriko here for Monolith.
That ban is weird to me. That ban is very strange to me because of the fact that last map they played Alari Lifeweaver backline. So they weren't really playing the Kiri until it was their attack round. So I guess maybe that Alari Lifeweaver comp is just something they do on defense and they want to play that Kiriko, so now they're going to have to pivot. I'm not entirely sure. But now Vicious has a chance to get rid of somebody pretty powerful they want to. I think that Soj is definitely a strong ban for them potentially, considering the way that 800 has been playing so far. But I don't know. If I was to say to somebody, it would be the Sojourn. Maybe you get rid of one of those tanks that you were kind of annoyed with. But your options, I think if you were Vicious, you were leaning more towards the support backline, but now you don't have that choice anymore, so you probably take out the next best thing, which is probably the damage.
I mean, yeah, Soj does make a lot of sense here because how Blind has been playing, but no, it's actually going to be the Orisa coming out here, which I don't hate this ban. They looked best last map when they were playing that Orisa, did Monolith, and the only reason that Orisa started to really fall off was, well, we kind of highlighted a lot. They just didn't want to use ultimates. I think if they maybe used a couple ultimates earlier on, that Orisa finds a little bit more value.
Yeah, I mean, that last map was just an unfortunate series of events with their Q buttons being taken off of their keyboards, but I think that Monolith can get the job done. I think even with an Orisa ban out, you can still run the Ramatra, you can still run the Reinhardt, you can run the Zarya, maybe a Domino, right? There's so many different options that, you know, the Orisa ban doesn't really have in their favor right now, so we'll have to see if that ban is going to be impactful to what kind of composition they want to play.
Yeah, it really is, but right now looks like Vicious is going to be bringing us another sub as we head in. Monolith could be bringing us some subs going into the next map here. Sinister Squid could be coming back in for KBS, who honestly, KBS had an incredible map last time, but Sinister Squid coming back in here, and you look over at Monolith. Smurfing going to be coming in. Blind going to be swapping over to the tank now. So that will be, let me pull it up here. That will be, I'm forgetting who was tank there for them. Backing out here as Blind going to be taking that spot.
Yeah, that is really interesting for me to see Blind going over that tank slot. I guess he might be a tank player at heart, and he was just filling in. It was DM that was on the tank before. But, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at this team sheet, and it looks like Blind is their tank player, so maybe now they're going to be playing in full force now that they have their whole 5-man roster here. As Vicious, Sinister showed back in, probably going to be showing up on the Reaper, but we'll have to find out here, as these subs might be the difference between a reverse sweep and just a complete shutout.
Yeah, it might be here, having Blind go over. I mean, Blind did have a really good couple first maps they were playing DPS, but I think now that they're back over on their main role here, you might see this Monolith team look a lot different here. But the main question will be, is it a little too late for them? Does Vicious have all the... Because we're already getting a pause request. Does Vicious have... Yeah, does Vicious have already all the momentum on their side?
That's a really good question, right? Because, you know, now we're on their main roles. Blind was still looking good on that hit scan. I genuinely would not have been surprised if Blind was the hit scan player. I mean, there's Sojourn able to get some really nice overclock kills, some nice individualistic kills. But now that they're on their main roles, maybe there's something that will be changing up here. Maybe Monolith is going to be able to get something done, start that reverse sweep from coming underway, or start the reverse sweep. And Vicious, they have to be a little careful, because otherwise this could still fall away from them if, you know, if these substitutions are the real reason why Monolith is the higher seed right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say the reason why we are in a pause right now, unfortunately, Lucas disconnected from the game. So might be an internet problem there, especially for the tank for Vicious, who has been playing excellently throughout this series. Not the best time for a DC for them. It looks like they've rejoined the lobby here, so we might be getting back in here momentarily. But yeah, this could be Monolith. This could be their time to shine. A reverse sweep still definitely possible. We do see it a decent amount here in CGL. Now that maybe Monolith's back at complete full strength, they could turn around here. They really could. I mean, we saw them go. I mean, they were able to win maps not win maps, but win a decent number of fights in these first couple maps, especially with someone off-rolling.
Yeah, but now you got to think about the fact, because I was looking at the other sheet now, and Lucas is actually not the starting tank for the side of Vicious. They are a sub right now. They're a flex sub, so maybe, you know, Vicious is also not playing at full force, but they still are looking in really good. And so, are we starting? Oh no, we're preparing to attack. Okay, never mind. Is that a bottle? Is that a water bottle?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, okay, I'm not that young, but I mean, like, it didn't really look like vodka. I mean, the big V is kind of a giveaway, no?
It was called Vitality.
Oh, I guess that's true.
You're also in a bar.
Oh, okay, all right. You know what? Don't correct me so much. SMH my head. No, it's okay. I love you, Dexter Strong. But we're going to be seeing some interesting comps here, as the Mauga is going to come out from the set of Vicious, as well as a Juno Lucio backline, and the Reaper is going to be making an appearance again, as both teams are on the Cassidy. We'll have to see how that gets played out here.
You want to talk about this kind of death ball comp coming out here. That is what Vicious is showing us with Smurfing, or immediately finding Giraffe Man out here, and already look at Vicious here. Very low on health for everyone, and Monolith coming out of the gate, throwing the first punch and landing the knockout blow.
Yeah, a really nice starting fight here at Monolith, just being able to close the distance with their Lucio and just going for massive axe plays with this Junker Queen, somebody we don't see all too often. We do see Lucas swap over that D.Va. It's going to be a little hard to play the D.Va into the Junker Queen, but, you know, definitely still an option on the table, and we'll have to see how Vicious want to re-attack this engagement, especially when they have that Tracer advantage. You know, they could go for a flank, look at that Baptiste, force out cooldowns, and then engage, but... You know, it's going to be up to them to see how they want to attack this.
it's going to be really up to them. But right now, you see Luke trying to take that space a little bit. Shiro now regrouping back up the rest of their team here as Vicious still just trying to find something here early on. Luke is now trying to build some space, maybe make a way towards point here, as you do see Vicious now inside the arena here for the first time, making their way towards point. Deadeye already ready here for Sunless, but we will not be seeing in this fight. Hell, we won't be seeing Smurfing either. Already Sagi going to be traded out. You will see Vicious get a quick point cap here, but it might just be that. It might just be quick.
Yeah, DMAC coming through already, pushing them off the objective. I mean, that's just going to be an immediate flip. Yeah, it took 16%. That's pretty cool, but doesn't really matter, as that's probably... if they do play this right, if they play up fast enough, then they can secure this first point right here, right now, as they're at 81%. And they look at how many ults they have. They have all 5 on the table, and now Vicious in a dire situation here. All you have to do maybe is go for a touch, force out some ults from Monolith without committing any of your own. The key point is...
Sorry. They get a touch right there. Deadeye now out from Sunless here. Is already Sinister taken out. Sunless still will be able to find Smurfing, but I don't want this to be the same thing that we saw last map from Monolith. There is one ultimate coming out. Will land onto 2. Soggy and Sunless getting very low, and they're barely alive. 1 health, but they're still holding on to the point. Amage is now out from R7 as Monolith using their ultimates here. Lucas, though, gonna get demeched, unfortunately, and that will probably do it for this point here, but you did get 2 ultimates out if you're Vicious.
Yeah. What I was... Oh, okay, Soggy Moist gets 1, and actually that Reaper's still alive. I don't think it matters all too much, as, yeah, Smurfing is going to be able to secure that kill. Nice series of events there for Monolith. But no, something that I wanted to say real quick before that engagement started, and I'm sorry, I almost cut you off there, was the fact that Monolith, you know, if I was Vicious, I'm attacking that point without using any of my ults, and I'm just trying to force out ults from Monolith. So I think they did an okay job. Yes, they commit the high noon, but it's high noon after all. You're already 45% to it, and so now you have an advantage in terms of ultimates. You have the Ray, you have the Beat, you have the Reaper ult, and you have the Bomb. While Monolith, you know, they have their own Beat, and this Pulse Bomb has to go crazy. Otherwise, this is a little bit of a problem here.
Beat out early from both teams here. However, you already see 2 members fall from Monolith. This is exactly what you're looking for here. If you're Vicious, you're gonna probably see Monolith just kind of fall back here, realizing this fight, and probably this first cap is lost. Soggy, though, barely escaping with their life, having to dodge shotgun shells and knives.
Oh, the Ray's gonna... I don't know if I like this Ray.
Yeah, I mean, they find Smook. I'll take I mean, you take that, but immediately Draftman gets traded out. That Ray, though, yeah, I didn't like it either.
It just felt like it was, you know, Soggy was afraid to die there, and so they decided to pop the Ray just in case, but, you know, then the rest of Monolith just decided to kite out. So they were able to do that really well, and Sinister Squid getting taken out. This could be an amazing immediate flip for the side of Monolith.
Yeah, R7 already finding 2, looking for a third one here, but Blind gonna be able to shut down Soggy, and now Vicious gonna have to really give up the point here. But it won't surprise me if Lucas tries to stall out on this point as long as it can. They'll get DMAC'd, won't use the bomb smartly. Eventually will get taken out, but it should be about 68%. Actually, no, 69% that Vicious gets with that first cap.
Nice. Monolith now having 4 ults in the back pocket. Vicious did use both their support ults, and they're going to take a while to get back online. You have to kind of go crazy here with the Reaper ult. You know, the rest of your ults aren't really, like, they don't secure picks. You know, when was the last time you saw somebody die to Diva Bomb, really, or the High Noon? It's been a hot minute. So now, I mean, it's going to be up to Vicious to try to get something done, as the first High Noon is going to come through, but I don't like these so far.
Oof, immediately a trade, though, coming out there. However, Vicious does get control of the point. Blind, though, finding 2. I mean, they go from playing that hit scan DPS to playing the tank, and they are still just finding bodies here right now. But Vicious looks like they're going to stall out this point again to about 90%. Monolith, though, 3 ultimates about to be online for them. Vicious now holding on to these 3 ultimates now for what seems like a while.
Yeah, these 3 ultimates, I mean, you're never going to get a lot of high-value picks with something like the Diva Bomb, like the cast. I understand maybe holding Lucas's ult a little bit, maybe that first time, but the second time I felt like you kind of needed to use it. So we'll have to see what Squid can do here on this Reaper. There's nothing to really stop him, as he is going to race in here.
Deadeye coming out here now, gonna be able to find Blind, but Sunless probably will end up falling to that Rampage. Blind does find 2 before they exit the fight. Smurfing gonna be able to shut down Soggy, and now Monolith looks like they're gonna be able to take this second point here, go up 2-0 in the map. Amage out here from R7. Vicious, though, they want to try to hold on this point as long as they can. They're trying to at least get it back in their control. Sinister Squid, though, Death Blossom is ready for them, just not holding, just haven't used it yet. This would be a perfect opportunity, especially as Lucas gets DMAC, but looks like they're gonna be holding on to this. No, they're looking for another 4K. Not going to be able to find it this time around. Sagi will find one, but that's going to be the only thing Vicious gets this fight, as now Monolith puts himself on the map point.
Yeah, this is Monolith looking incredibly strong right now. Blind is doing incredible work on this queen. I mean, using that ultimate, even though you do get shut down, is going to allow them to do so much. And we do see some swaps come through, actually. Sunless with a 6-7 stat line. Hey, 6-7. Guys, I'm cool. Is going to be swapping over to that Tracer, as well as Sinister Squid swapping over to the Emre there. So a little bit of role swapping there in terms of flex DPS and hit scan. We'll have to see if that goes into their advantage or not, as Sagi also going over to the Baptiste.
Monolith and Shiro both have only died once and have already both accumulated more than 20 kills here, or elims. These two are playing out of their minds right now, as Vicious Unforgiven is looking for answers here that just haven't been able to find just yet. Shiro going after now. Sinister is now back over on the Emre Smook, though, starting off this fight here with the beat, as Luke is now on this Ramatra here. Deadeye out from smurfing. They'll get shut down by Sunless, as the Deadeyes have kind of gone cold here, but with one kill going the way of Unforgiven, Monolith comes right back with 3. No, make it 4.
Oh man, and you get the knife. Maybe the Emerald lives. Run away! Run away!
Run away, Turkish man.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, well, a little bit of an unfortunate situation there, but I mean, look, Lucas gonna go over them mirroring the queen. That's definitely a choice here. But now you look at Monolith's ult advantage. They have the queen ult. They have the window almost online here, and what? Vicious have the pulse bomb. You're gonna have to hope and pray you can pulse this tank and get them down before they can pop their ult. Otherwise, you're going to be in a really tough situation here. But we'll have to see, as Vicious can approach from this left side here, kind of negate a little bit of these longer ranged angles.
Whoa. Rampage lands on a 3 Immortality Field, trying to keep everyone alive, but that Immortality Field will go away. So will the support line, so will Lucas. And now Vicious Unforgiven, the remaining 2 members, probably just have to back out. Sunless not going to be able to. Sinister Squid, though, again, running for their life here, as they are setting up for one final touch here.
Yeah, they have nothing available, though. It's going to be a window v almost window, 80%, as Monolith just have been in complete control this entire map, and this is looking completely different than what we've seen from him before. Those substitutions definitely have had an impact. The window comes out.
Giraffe Man falls first, followed by Lucas. This damage is working like a charm here. Already 3 members of Vicious down. You're really up to now Sagi and Sunless to keep this one going. Sagi will find one, but they will be immediately traded out. Now it's all up to Sunless, but a 4v1, yeah, the Tracer's not going to be able to do that one. And now Monolith, sweeping through this map, does the reverse sweep start for them right now?
I mean, this is looking completely different than what we saw, especially off of map 1, map 2. Oh, Lord have mercy. 38-1 from Blind. 38 and 38-1? 38-1. That's okay. Wow, Blind going crazy on the queen. I mean, huge queen ults, especially at the perfect opportunities, understanding when they don't have ults to counteract it. I mean, just really good plays overall for Monolith in terms of their ult charges, in terms of, you know, the fights they took. I mean, it was textbook, really, for Monolith.
It really was, and you have to remember the one death that Blind had there was just after using a Rampage where Sunless dead-eyed them, but that Rampage was eventually able to take them right out after it there. So their one death, even in vain, did find a pick after it. And I mean, Vicious, they still looked like they could have come back in this map, but this was a completely different Monolith team. We talked about Blind going over from that hit scan to the tank, where that hit scan they chose that first 2 maps was impressive, but the tank that we saw makes it, I mean, it's still impressive, but it makes it look a lot different here now, as this tank performance from Blind in just one map was downright incredible.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the start of the reverse sweep, I am completely here for it. Blind has been an absolute knockout right now, no matter if they're on Sojourn or if they're on the Queen. But now Vicious, like I did say before that map even started, now Vicious have control. They have that first ban, they have map selection, and so now, you know, Monolith can't afford to make mistakes. They can't drop any more maps. They cannot hope that something goes awry for Vicious, as Vicious have complete control. And now, I mean, we have what left? We have just Push and Escort, if I'm correct. Am I right?
Push and Escort.
Okay, Push and Escort. Okay, so we have Kahlo, Esper, New Queen, and then Dorado, Havana, Junktown, Rialto. Where are you taking Monolith?
I mean, the problem is, we just saw Blind play a Drunk Queen that entire map. If you want to bring us away from that, say something maybe a little bit more divey, that's maybe not the word. That's maybe not the best thing to do either. I mean, I'm looking at the team sheet right now here for Monolith, and Blind does say their preferred hero and favorite hero is D.Va. So you might be looking at someone who's able to really flex around to a lot of different tanks here now. So you might look at that tank ban coming up here for Vicious, but you might want to try to maybe focus away from that and say we could beat the rest of the team and then go after Blind. However, talking about maps, I think you do bring us to a push map here. I feel like that's just a good one, but you can't bring us. You kind of have to move us away from something like Esperanza, I think. But no, ooh, I like the map here. I like it here. Instead, it's going to be Havana, which, again, yeah, you could play dive, but I feel like we've seen a lot of teams kind of gravitate more towards poke here and a little bit more brawl. But still, dive definitely an option here. And if the D.Va is still on the table, this might be the map you just try to ban it out.
Yeah, I think this definitely calls for the D.Va ban. I think Havana, despite its high grounds, is definitely more of a poke map. I think that this is one of the 2 maps that Sigma is considered like a must pick in my ranked games. But obviously these teams can play other things besides Sigma. So, now you're thinking about, does Vicious ban out the D.Va? And I think that there's a good chance that they do. I think that's a good shout. Maybe getting rid of those snipers. These have long ranges. Havana is known as the sniper city. Besides Circuit Royale, of course. But you can get rid of, the Emre is a problem. You could get rid of the Cassidy. They were proving to be difficult as well. Maybe the Widowmaker. I know we haven't seen Widowmaker so far, but if the Widowmaker was to come out, it would be on this map. You could look at the supports. You could look at the poke supports. You can get rid of the Alari. You could get rid of the Baptiste. There's definitely options here for Vicious in order to get the job done.
Yeah, there definitely is, but you do see there that Monolith has banned out the D.Va, but Vicious could still ban out the D.Va here. I think if you're going to ban out one of those hit scans, you ban out the Emre. Emre has just been a problem so far. Even though Vicious is normally the team that's running that Emre, we do know just how strong Emre is, but no. The Widow, you did talk about it, but I feel like it's such a boom or bust kind of hero in a lot of situations where if they're not landing headshot after headshot, they're really not finding that much value for your team.
Yeah, Widow is definitely a risky ban here. It's not like taking something off like the Freya or the Emre. Those are more consistent picks. But the Widowmaker, like you said, it's just so one-sided, right? It's either this ban is the greatest ban of all time because they have a Widow God on the enemy team, or it's such a stupid ban because the Widowmaker on the enemy team doesn't have hands. So that's definitely something to be considering. Definitely something that will be in question here, as Monolith now have to look at the supports or the tanks here. Maybe you get rid of one of those poke tanks. Maybe you get rid of the Sigma, the Domina. You could get rid of, like I said, the poke supports like the BAP, like the Alari, like the Zen. I think all of these are definitely options on the table.
Yeah, definitely an option here right now. And I would not be surprised if we do see the ERA come out here really from them. It would make a lot of sense for Monolith to do that, considering Vicious has played it in the past. I think that would be a smart move to go with here.
Yeah, definitely some interesting choices here. You could get rid of, maybe the Ball can come out of retirement as a ban selection. But we are going to see now what the option is from Monolith. No, we're not.
I think I know what's going on here. And wait, they already banned out D.Va.
Didn't they already ban D.Va?
Yes. They banned D.Va map 1.
Yeah, they banned D.Va map. Okay, I knew I wasn't crazy. Okay, so what happens now?
We go back and say okay.
Nuh-uh.
We are being told that D.Va was actually banned out map 1 by Vicious. So the map 1 bans were backwards, which means at the same point Vicious banned out the Lifeweaver, a hero that we saw them play that second map very, very well. So, interesting plays.
Okay, so Vicious banned out the Widow, and D.Va's banned by Monolith. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to wrap my head around this too.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
So it's Vicious banning the D.Va, and Monolith banning the Widow.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Okay, I think that's smart. Oh, here we go. Thank you for this. Okay. All right. I'm seeing what I'm. Okay. This makes sense now. Thank you for that graphic. Fraud.
Thank you.
I'll read that.
But we do have one sub coming back in here for Vicious. KBS coming back in now. And I mean, we honestly probably expected this with this being a little bit of a hit scan map, and with especially how we saw KBS play that Emery back on Blizzard World. This is a map where I feel like they could find a lot of value.
Yeah, I think that it does have a lot on the table, but dude, Havana is so beautiful. You want to hear something that's on my bucket list, Duxatron?
Going to Cuba?
Well, not just Cuba. I want to go to every single place that's an Overwatch map, right? Like I want to go to like Busan. I want to go to like Rialto. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
The moon.
The moon. The moon is one of Antarctica, obviously. Okay, some of the ones that are obtainable probably is what I meant. But you know what I meant.
I mean, hey, you never know. You never know what could happen here in the next 15, 20 years. Space travel might be something that becomes affordable and something that's normal.
I can go to the moon.
You can see where Winston was born.
I can see where Winston was made. And Hammond.
Wait, not born, at least raised.
Raised, tested. Was he experimented on?
Yeah,
that makes it sound evil though.
So these comms.
So these comms, yes, we do see double hit scan out of Vicious and Sombra out for Monolith. And Blind also again on the Queen. So maybe this is telling about what Vicious might want to ban out next.
Hunter, I have to question who's on your friend list.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
But I mean, we are losing it. Monolith, they're doing a really good job at least forcing Vicious off this high ground. However, KBS coming right back in, finding Smurfing with the grenade, and now Smook not going to be able to escape these rocks from Lucas. What was looking like such a good opportunity here for Monolith early on is slowly falling apart here, but the equation being missed there almost comes back to bite them, but KBS going to send Monolith back to the spawn here, packing.
Yeah, Smurfing gonna fall over to that Ash. Yeah, just making sure that Sombra's not behind them somewhere, even though
he's shooting from the voices.
The Sombra's in spawn, so I don't know what he's shooting at. But I think it's gonna be really difficult to run the Queen on Havana, right? This is such a difficult comp to run on Havana. There's so many different high grounds. There's so many different, angles you need to worry about as Queen just kind of takes 1 million damage walking through an area like this main. You know, you got to deal with high ground. You got to deal with the far main, with the Sojourn. They have double hit scan also. You're gonna take 1 million poke before you even get close enough to swing your axe.
And right now, I mean, you're looking over at Smurfing on this Ash to be able to try to find out someone like Giraffeman, who's not necessarily playing in a safe spot. They're playing a little bit in the open before they eventually fall back down. But Luke is going to be able to find Smurfing out, and I mean, you're really looking at Shiro now being able to find something here early on.
Yeah, really nice plays there from them as Lucas is again just holding this ground exactly where he needs to. It looks like Monolith is going to rotate a little bit to this high ground, but Lucas is going to be there to meet him. I don't know if I love these rotates, especially when you're down one, and that immortality field is already used. I mean, this is not looking good for Monolith. They don't have cooldowns, they don't have resources. It's going to be a difficult challenge here in order to get the kill.
Giraffeman coming so close to that tree, but that Rampage is online for Blind, and they see maybe 4 good targets here. Yep, here it comes, lands onto 3 of them. KBS can be able to take care of Shiro, but you're seeing the trades immediately go the way of Monolith. The tree, well, when no one can be healed, the tree will not matter. The knife could be the ending. Wow, I can't speak. The knife could be the thing that ends the fight here as Monolith. I mean, hey, they took that one-man down disadvantage there and came out on top.
Something that, okay, I'm gonna sound like I'm a gold player in a Twitch chat, but Vicious can swap to Kiriko. I think that's a valid swap here. It's not banned, it's on the table, they have a Queen, you can't allow her ultimate entirely with Suzu. I think it's a good ban, good choice, but I think maybe Monolith knows that, and that's why they're running the Queen, because they only run Alari Lifeweaver. Oh my god, a huge nade almost just blew apart everybody with Vicious. But they have so many ults.
I mean, Vicious is in a spot right here. They had the ultimate ability to use here early on as the sun not coming out from Soggy. Beat out here from Smook early on as already Smook Blind going to be able to take care of 2. The Flux coming out there, not going to be able to do anything as now 3 ultimates invested by Vicious this fight. Won't even bring up 1 pick for them, and everything's starting to fall apart for them here now.
Monolith is just being so dominant. So many ults were popped from Vicious there. And Monolith just kind of sat there and looked at them like they looked funny. I mean, they don't have any ults of their own, sure, but they don't get a touch for the second objective. And now Smurfing going to be close to a Bob, blinding almost again to another ult. Vicious only have, what, just an overclock? And that's going to be a little bit of a problem to connect onto anybody. I mean, this is looking like it's, again, all Monolith.
Again, right now we're seeing the tail of just halves at this point. The first two maps for Monolith, they kind of look lost. And now it seems like Vicious is a team that's lost here. Blind going over to the tank role that they were supposed to play on has definitely been a difference maker here so far for Monolith. Smurfing, though, almost taken out here. They have that Bob ready, and they're going to be throwing it out here early on. Sunless still going to pop off with the overclock. Find one, looking for a second one here, but now being pressured out. It will be the Bob taking them out here as Monolith can still just keep their foot on the gas and keep that cart rolling.
Yeah, the Bob is utilized, and I mean, the overclock wasn't able to get anything besides just one, and yeah, you do gain a little bit of space off of it, but I mean, the push is still going through. It hasn't stopped yet. They're closing this distance ever so closely. They don't have any ults besides the tree, but the tree's not going to do anything against the Queen ult. I mean, Monolith just have complete control. Whoa, okay there.
Beat out here from Snook. The tree gonna come out, but really no one can be healed by it yet again. Now all that rampage is gone, so they can't be healed by it. However, you lose Giraffe, you lose Sunless, now you lose Lucas. Override Protocol out from Chiro as they're focusing in on Soggy. They'll be able to find the pick. KBS taken out as well. And now who's gonna be the touch here for Vicious?
It has to be this Lucio here. Giraffe Man gonna go in. Sunless getting taken off the board is a nice start. However, Giraffe Man getting taken out is oh no, wait, Sunless was on the wrong side. Whoops, well, that's gonna be the full cap.
Oh, nice boop there by Smook to make sure that Lucas could not come charging right back onto the point, and Monolith completes the map with 2 minutes and 36 seconds, and especially for Habana, that's an incredible time.
Yeah, getting through that I feel like I blinked and I missed second point, honestly. It was just so incredibly fast. Blink was able to get close enough to that high ground, and everybody came out directly to meet them. And they were just able to shut them all down with just massive queen axes, like, yeah, just sitting up here, 60% and counting. And then they were just like, what if we just, like, yeah, Sunstruck, Fluxed, it didn't matter. There was an immortality field waiting for that queen. They were just able to completely dominate that high ground. And, I mean, that was an incredibly fast cap there for Monolith here. And Vicious have a tough task ahead of them as they try to go on their attack around now.
Yeah, and again, you have to, as we're getting another pause here, and you just have to like look at these last two maps. Monolith just dominated New Junk City, and they've dominated this first round here on Habana. I mean, it seems like Vicious Unforgiven has lost all the momentum here. They kind of are looking, they're still at least keeping themselves in some of these fights. I mean, you can look at the first fight there on the Havana push there for a Monolith, where they were able to win it there. They did a good job finding picks early on, being able to take that space back, but then it would look like they were doing the exact same thing the next fight. They found an early pick, but then the rotations really started to work out there for Monolith. And really, it was just an excellent rampage that ended up finding four. You got rid of the tree essentially for free because no one was going to be able to be healed by it there. Everything is going Monolith's way right now, while Vicious Unforgiven, they need to figure something out here quick, or else the reverse sweep, it goes from being a possibility to being something that really seems more likely than not.
Yeah, ever since that substitution came in, Monolith have looked scary. They have looked like a completely different team. They look completely unstoppable. And I think we know the reason for the pause is because Lucas's screen froze yet again. So we are going to be getting them back in, I believe. Oh, wait, no. It was a pause from Monolith. So yeah, I don't actually.
I think we're going to go back in about maybe 5 seconds.
Okay, well, we got ours in, so, okay, it looks like the issue has been resolved, so we're going to be going back in, but now Vicious have to attack. Uh-oh. I don't know what you're going to do to this attack, but it's going to be a daunting task for them.
Yeah, it's going to be a very daunting task. I mean, especially if Blind sticks on this Junk Queen, which really should be a tank, especially if you're playing that Sigma, you could counter out very easily. Just an accretion and a little bit of a communication between the rest of your team just collapsing in on the tank definitely would make it very easy for you to be able to get through. But Blind has been doing an incredible job making sure they haven't been getting hit by those accretions. They've been not putting themselves too far away from their team, so their supports can really heal them up here right now. I mean, again, you look at the stats here. R7 never died. Blind only died once. Blind has 7,000 damage.
Oh god, 7,000 is a really, my goodness, that is a quick thing to have. Jeez Louise, I mean, yeah, I'm looking at Smooktober. How do you pronounce it? Smooktober? That makes more sense. Is it like Spooktober, like a Halloween thing?
I don't know.
So many questions and not enough answers. But we are going to see Vicious again on that double hit scan with Lucas on that Sigma, so nothing really has changed. But we do see Soggy Moist on to the Kiriko. What I did suggest earlier, which I think should have come out a little sooner, but, you know, hindsight 2020. But we'll have to see if their attack can be even as good as Monolith's here, or if it's going to be a hold, and Monolith takes us to map number 5.
And right now, Smurfing getting very low right there from those grenades by KBS here. Nice anti there on the blinds. They're going to immediately have to fall back now. Wait for that anti to go away. Start to get healed up here. This is exactly the start you're looking for if you're Vicious. Building up a lot of space here early on, and that Sigma can really help you out by doing that a lot.
Yeah, and so now it looks like Monolith has to back up a little bit. It's going to be really difficult to hold here with this Queen, right? You have to close your distance, but you kind of can't do that when it's a payload like this. So we'll have to see what the play is. Oh, that's not a good start.
It's not a good start. Losing Sunless Smurfing, though, could immediately be traded out here. However, no one's noticing them. Even their own team, I don't think, is noticing how low they were. Eventually, they're going to start to get some healing now, but Vicious still just looking for something here early on.
Yeah, the Samurai is going to be doing a nice job on the off angle here with Lucas, but look at the health bars from Vicious. They're dropping so incredibly low. They need to get their healing up, and they're close to support ults a lot quicker than Monolith here, which could lead to their advantage and secure this first objective.
Yeah, it really could. I mean, Giraffe Man and Soggy, they could get those online this fight, especially with how slow this kind of fight is moving on here. And you could just see Vicious go very, very quickly. Shiro, though, very low on health again, looking for any kind of healing. Blind, though, needs healing, but they're not going to be able to find it this fight, as that's the opening you're looking for here if you're Vicious. And look at what Monolith already doing here. Just backing up, maybe just trying to set up for one last touch here. Or, I mean, they might just be giving this point over. I don't think that's going to be the case, though.
Yeah, a lot of ults are coming online for Monolith. The Smurfing going to be the first to touch, but oh, nice immortality field, and now KBS going to be the first to fall, but Sunless gets a nice trade. I can't tell which way this is going.
Nano invests here, but Shiro going to be able to find 2 here with this override protocol. Make it 3 as they will take care of Lucas, but Giraffe Man finds R7S. Blind, though, still alive and kicking, and that will do it for this fight. Monolith actually comes out on top of it. Only 1 ult invested, though, by Vicious. Monolith had to also invest 1 there, so an even trade across the board.
Yeah, really, really good hold there. They did use one of their ults, and now they have 4 in the back pocket as Vicious. I mean, they only have 1 minute and 30 on the clock right now, and they need to approach this kind of carefully. If they use too many ults and lose, then this could be a full hold. Oh.
Rampage comes out, but they miss it with the Flux. 3 members hit, but no one died just yet. There's the first casualty of the Rampage, and there's the other 2. Already, Vicious Unforgiven looking for the fallback. Soggy, looks like they just accepted it. Same thing for Sunless, as Shiro will find them there now. Again, 1 ult used there for Monolith, while it was also still, again, 1 ult used there by Vicious.
Yeah, and so that Flux being used, counteracted by the Rampage. There's 60 seconds left. Vicious have 3 of their ults. This is going to be scary here for Monolith, right? I mean, they do have 3 ults, but we'll have to see what the plan is in order to use them, as this is definitely full holdable as long as they are able to use their ults appropriately.
Instant Rush out here, going to be the response beat there from Smook. Actually, it's going to be the response of everything now from Monolith. Smurfing going to be able to find 1. KBS trying to get something here with this override, but no, it's the Amp Matrix and the Overclock. An ace for Smurf right there as Monolith sweeps up the floor.
Wow, that was, geez Louise, 20 seconds on the clock, and there's no ults for Monolith here, but nothing for Vicious. So if they do get a touch, which I don't think they're fast enough for, Lucas swapped over to the Queen, but I mean, this is going to be an entirely neutral fight in which Monolith have the advantage.
And Shiro so close to another override protocol, but you lose Lucas. Is there going to be a touch coming out from Vicious without the tank? I don't think there's going to be a touch here, and Monolith forcing us over to a map 5. That reverse sweep is definitely becoming more of a possibility for them now.
I mean, Vicious, like, this is becoming a problem, right? I mean, you need to close this out, and it's kind of being difficult to do so when you're just getting pushed in the face by the Junker Queen. But you have to look at the positives. I mean, it's Smurfing, bro. Look at this guy. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, I mean, I mean, this was really good stuff from Monolith. A full hold and a really quick attack round. Just beautiful execution here. But now I think if I'm Vicious, I know exactly what I'm doing, and I'm banning out this queen.
Yeah, I mean, especially as we will be heading over to a push map no matter what, Queen could definitely find some value on a lot of those maps here. Let me just take a look at the pool here, see what's in it. Coliseo, Esperanza, and New Queen Street, maybe not the best maps for Queen, but still, you could find a lot of value, especially with how Blind has been playing her so far. But, I mean, it comes down to the question, do you want to get rid of it, or do you try to get rid of potentially something else? Maybe like R7 on this Baptiste? Do you maybe get rid of the Lucio? Because I don't think we've seen a Lucio ban just yet.
A Lucio ban definitely come out, but I think this queen has been so oppressive. Like you said it at the beginning of the attack round for Vicious. The queen had 7k damage. The next closest was like, I think it was like 4k or something like that. This queen is going absolutely rampant. I didn't think it was going to work on Havana. I was like, it's Havana, you can't run the queen, but I mean, by God, they got it done. And so, I mean, this is looking scary here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Monolith can come away with this in a reverse sweep fashion.
Yeah, like I said, the tale of two halves right now. The first two maps, Monolith looked lost. It didn't really look like they could have or could shut down anything from Vicious Unforgiven. However, now the tables have turned. Vicious Unforgiven, they're kind of just running into the same problem. Nothing is working for them here. But with that being the end of map 4, we're going to throw it over to a quick break. When we come back, will Monolith complete the reverse sweep, or will Vicious Unforgiven be able to solve it to deny them there? Everyone, stick around. You're not going to want to miss map 5. Well, if you would have asked me after map number 2, would we see a map 5? I would have been very much a non-believer. But Monolith have made me a believer in these last 2 maps. They have looked like the better team here. And I mean, Mega Ninja, we were talking about during the break, like, what has happened to this Vicious Unforgiven team? Is it really just the swap of Blind going over to the tank and Smurfing coming in that has been the difference for Monolith? I mean, just based off the results these last couple of maps, the easy answer is yes. But also, just Vicious Unforgiven, what's happened with them?
You know, Vicious Unforgiven has kind of forgotten fundamentals in terms of what they were doing really well in map 1 and 2 versus maps 3 and 4. They weren't fighting as 5, they weren't cycling their ults as well. There was many, yes, obviously it can be like, oh, their queen is just killing everybody, and oh, Smurfing gets a 5k with overclock, which did happen. But I mean, I don't know. They need to get it back together, and I think they can. This is definitely, it's giving me like Team Outcat or Katsia versus Geeke today. Did you watch that series?
I tried. I was at work.
Oh, okay. It started off with 2-0, and then it went to 2-2, and then it went to 3-2. So, I mean, that is the potential for happening right here. But is it likely? I don't know, but I do know what they are gonna. I do know where they're going.
Yeah. Yeah, our final map, our definite final map, because if you somehow draw on this map, I would like to see it happen, because I just don't think it's possible. But Esperanza going to be our final map here of the night, and like I said, it's a tale of 2 halves. Look at the score line there. Vicious Unforgiven, 2 dominant maps to start off. Monolith, though, has come back with 2 dominant maps in response. Now, this is a very important ban here for Vicious coming in. I think me and you talked about during the break. There is a very obvious ban for them that you could see come out here. Do they go with the queen, or do they try to focus on something else and just say, hey, we can focus on the queen if everyone else is dead?
No, I love the narrative, I love the storyline, but no, the queen is taken out. I don't need to think twice about it. If queen isn't taken out, then Vicious Unforgiven don't want to win this game at all. I mean, this queen has been so... Yeah, I mean, yeah, we put 2 and 2 together. Water is wet, money is found in a bank, fork found in a kitchen. The queen off the board was the only acceptable answer here for Vicious. But now, my more important thought process is, where does Monolith go? What do they take off of the board?
I mean,
maybe the Reaper?
That's really only if we see Sinister Squid come back in here. They could get rid of the Emre and force maybe a swap out here now for them, for Sinister Squid to come back in. Or they could go over at that support line where we have seen this Vicious Unforgiven team really play a lot of interesting supports here. We've seen Anna, we've seen Iaru, we've seen Brig. I mean, you could see any one of those. Monolith has really only banned out support so far. Their 4th ban actually on support will be the Ana this time around.
God, they really don't like supports, huh? What does the Ana provide for them, though? Is it just, like, they're bored and they want to ban out the Ana? Or is that just, like, a specific ban, maybe to counteract antis onto your queen? I think that's definitely an option.
Well, with the queen being banned out here, I mean, I think you just really don't want to have to deal with it, especially on a map like this one. Especially like a map... I'm sorry.
What are you laughing at?
What our producer just put in the chat. Sinister Squid, though, is coming back in here, but like I was saying, an Ana being banned on this map does make a decent amount of sense. You do see a lot of times teams do prefer to play dive on this map, and Ana is still looked at as one of those main support heroes for a dive composition, and we have seen, I believe it was Giraffe Man, play the Ana a little bit last map.
Yeah, the substitution does tell me that Squid is going to be coming in on that Reaper, which I think is okay on Esperanza. Obviously, you do kind of like the Tracer more in most situations, but hey, Reaper is Reaper. So we'll have to see now. And also, in terms of tying, I did want to point out, there is 2 ways you can tie on push. If both teams never touch the bot, or if both teams get to the checkpoint, activate butt scratch, but don't move it anymore. That's the only way you can tie a push. So if that happens today, taking us to a map 6, this would be the greatest game of Overwatch. This would be the greatest series of Overwatch to ever exist.
I'm gonna be honest, if neither team touches the bot for 10 minutes, that's just collusion.
Well, okay, they can touch it, but like it has to be like intent, like it can't move for 10 minutes. It's like has to be a 10-minute long fight in right where it stands.
I think if that ever happens, the bot should just go randomly pick a side and say, you know what, you're winning.
It should just fly up. It should be like an Easter egg. Like it just flies straight up and says congratulations. You know, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, but look at the comps here. Blind coming out on the Malga. Even though we see on their team sheets, it's preferred that their preferred tank is D.Va, which you see actually Lucas coming out on.
Yeah, Lucas has been trying to make this D.Va work the entire time, but we'll have to see how this Malga works out. I mean, the D.Va does a pretty good job countering the Malga out, kind of just eating the bullets that you desperately needed on Malga because of how large you are as a tank, that you need to keep yourself afloat, but we'll have to see if it comes to fruition, as unfortunately the first wave of tying has already been taken off the board as Monolith starts getting some forward progress.
Yeah, I mean, Blind on this Malga might actually be able to really shut down Lucas on this D.Va pretty well, because that defense matrix will eventually fade away, but Blind charging straight in. Immortality Field already invested to keep him alive here, as R7 doing a good job right now keeping this tank alive, because if you lose Malga here, especially with Shiro on the Soldier, it's a little bit interesting, but Sunless going to be able to shut down Smurfing here, and that's a great pick to get out of the way early on here if you're Vicious, but you need to get Blind out of this engagement.
Yeah, Blind is they're just doing nothing right now, and besides taking a trillion damage. A nice slam onto the Kiriko, but Blind taken out of the fight. The D-Mech comes through, so it's kind of even, but it looks like it's going to be Vicious taking the fight win, and now Monolith, they look like they bleed.
They look like they bleed. Shiro coming back in, though, will fall to Sinister. I mean, Sinister made this Reaper look good in some instances. You go back to first map, but when we saw him play third map on New Junk City, the Reaper really didn't find any value, but already... Shiro, you're swapping over to the Reaper now as well? Okay.
Reaper Mirror, we'll have to see who can do it better. As a nice engage here from the Malga, but I wouldn't be surprised if we could see some... Oh, that's not a good start. That's just a reset for Monolith. That's just an automatic reset.
It's an automatic reset, and this is exactly what we were hoping for here for Vicious, especially after the performance they had in maps 1 and 2. We want to see him come out of the gate strong, and I mean, Blind has been such a difference maker these last couple maps for Monolith. Now that they're not finding that value here early on, their team already giving up that first checkpoint.
Yeah, this is going to be a little problematic now. I mean, Blind, look at Blind! Blind is taken out again! You got to get off this Malga, man. I mean, there's no way you can make this work. The only way that they win this is if they swap off the Malga, and then, you know, Vicious do that thing they did on second map where they decide they don't want to press their Q buttons anymore. But, I mean, they've already activated forward spawn. They're still getting meterage. Blind is back in the engagement. This is looking not like the Monolith we're used to.
Whew. But you're going to be able to find at least no one there with that. Squid was looking like they wanted to get set up for that Death Blossom there, but it'll actually be Blind finding them out there instead. So they're stemming the bleeding right now, but Vicious just going to fall back, especially with all 5 ultimates ready to go here.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid that they're going to do the same thing where they don't press Q for a minute. But we'll have to find out, as now they just gave up the objective actually entirely. Monolith needs to realize that they need to actually push the objective more to their side. And now, I mean, Vicious, yeah, they're going to pop their ults, and this is going to be an ult dump for sure.
Both support ultimates out here. Actually, 5 ultimates out on the field right now. The cage is just disappear right there, but Shiro going to be able to find one before they're eventually almost taken out here. Death Blossom for Sinister, not going to be able to find anything, but does put a lot of damage into Blind, who will eventually fall. Smurfing will find one. However, that's going to probably be the only thing that Monolith's able really to find this engagement, as Sinister looking to clean up. Now going after Shiro, who does have Death Blossom almost online, but Lucas just going to be able to roll right through them there, and ooh. Soggy barely keeping themselves alive there.
Yeah, and now, unfortunately, this is going to allow even more forward progress for Vicious, as the Malga is back, sure, but look at the ults that are remaining. Vicious kind of had to use every single one in order to secure that fight win, while Monolith was able to secure their Death Blossom. So now you have to be looking out for that, but the D.Va counters that out so incredibly well, which Monolith doesn't have because they're on that Malga. So we'll have to see how Shiro's trying to approach this.
Right now, Monolith still just trying to be very cautious here with how far they're going to push up the bot. At the moment, they're now just giving it back over to Vicious here. Sunless will fall. Blind going to be able to find them early on. However, very low on health. Needs a decent amount of healing. Immortality Field going to be able to keep it alive. But there comes the cavalry here for Monolith. Already taking care of that backline right now. And they're going to be able to clean up the rest of the fight as Lucas is going to get demeched here. And they're not going to stagger them out. They'll just make sure they kill him fast. It's a team kill going the way of Monolith.
You know, really good play from Monolith there. Shiro, like taking the attention off of Shiro there, allowing him to get into position, and then not having the DM from Lucas in order to stop that Reaper ult was really smart from Vicious there. From Monolith there, excuse me. But now Monolith, they have both their support ults. Vicious doesn't really have anything besides a bomb building up, and so they kind of have to take a dry fight here. They cannot just give up this checkpoint, otherwise this can definitely spiral or snowball in the opposite direction when they want it to.
Lucas stalling out this checkpoint for as long as they can, but the damage from R7 is going to probably at least guarantee Monolith this checkpoint right here, especially as Sinister will fall. But again, Lucas just throwing their body on point. Bomb coming out here as everyone from Monolith just kind of scattering away, but Smook gonna fall there. Blind will be able to find Sagi though right now. It's still that bot, I don't think at that checkpoint just yet. Kills going back and forth here, but eventually I think you're gonna get that checkpoint here now if you're Monolith, and you're gonna actually be able to keep pushing it here. You're gonna take the lead here.
Yeah, it looks like that butt scratch had already been activated, and so looks like they are going to be able to gain the lead here. The Lucio runs headfirst into oncoming traffic and decides to give up his life to lose the lead. Oh, but it's okay because Smooktober does the exact same thing and decides that they also don't enjoy living. So now it's going to be a reset here as they keep getting a little bit more meterage, but I mean, they took the lead, and that's really important right now.
You took the lead, and now R7 running for their life here, trying to stay alive, investing in the Immortality Field here to make sure they at least regroup there with Blind. But look over at Vicious here. I mean, they're okay giving up the lead. They have 4 ultimates to their name. They could really try to play fast.
Oh, that's an early cage, and there's a rush into it. The beat's available from both sides, and they're going to pop it. This is an ult fight for sure, and it looks like a kite from Monolith here, which is going to be a good idea.
2 for 2. Blind actually gave up on that cage very, very quickly after seeing both the support ultimates come out. Death Blossom now ready for Sinister, but they might just be able to chunk down Blind here for free. And there's the Death Blossom coming out, already going to be able to find one, make it 2. Sunless now pops off with the overclock, going to be able to find their counterpart on the other side here. The rest of Monolith just running for their life here. They might be giving up this lead very quickly.
Lucas has the bomb online, but there's nothing available. I mean, Shiro's going to be close, and so is R7 in terms of ultimates, but I mean, as long as my main support doesn't run into oncoming traffic. Blind! You gotta swap off Malga. You have to get off the Malga now.
Now they ran into oncoming traffic, multiple shotguns into their face, but now Vicious back in the lead here. Smook falls, and now Blind getting off the Malga. Nope, never mind, going right back over to the Malga. But Vicious now building upon their lead, already 20 meters and counting.
Why? Just to get off the Malga. It's okay to get off that character. He's not that good right now. Especially into a D.Va and a Reaper. You're not going to be able to find anything. And now, I mean, look, there goes Smurfing. This is a problem. Monolith, they're just losing this advantage. They don't have... I mean, they have 2 ults, sure, but this lead is still going their way. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Lucas gonna try to get back into the mech here, barely able to do it. Sunless and gonna be able to find Smook there. And I mean, this card very close to the end here, almost essentially at the finish line. But there are members of Monolith coming back in. Sunless will be able to find Blind here. Shiro does have the Death Blossom ready to go, but it looks like Vicious just gonna have to fall back for a brief moment, not having the manpower really to stay in this, especially with Lucas falling there. But
they windowed?
They
windowed?
They windowed.
What? Why? You're up 4. Oh my god. Okay. Monolith have to get 50 meters. They have 2 ults to do it. Vicious have a couple of ults building up. Oh god, I'm just praying these Lucios don't run into, you know, like the death squad. I really didn't like that play at all. Why the window? I don't understand. Okay, we're gonna see a TP to the high ground here. Shiro needs to get something done here. Otherwise, I mean, there's only a minute left.
We've already seen one Ajax this series. Will we see another one here? Both Lucius do have those beats online. Immortality Field out. Smook can be able to get their beat off. Same thing with Giraffe. So not seeing it this time, but Shiro going to be able to find Sinister right here. And if you're Monolith, that's a huge pick off early. You're going to be able to get Lucas out as well. At this point, don't be investing any ultimates here if you're Monolith. And it looks like you'll be able to clean up this fight with all those ultimates in tow.
Oh, Squid loses the Reaper Blossom too, which would have been huge into the Malga ult, but it's not on the cards anymore, as Vicious have 3 ults. There's 50 meters to be gained. Monolith can get it done. They have 4 ults online. Well, 3 and 75 to window, but I mean, it's window. It gets built in 30 seconds. So we'll have to see how Vicious want to approach this, as it is coming down to last and final fight.
Vicious trying to make sure they don't give up the reverse sweep right now. Monolith trying to get the reverse sweep. Smurfing, though, did use the pulse bomb right there. I believe it's stuck onto Lucas, who's not going to be able to find anything. Smurfing, though, taken out early. There's the bomb out now from Blind. Not going to be able to find anything, but kills are just being traded back and forth. Vicious investing all the ultimates into this fight. I don't think they've really found the value they're looking for here. Overtime will commence here. Vicious will have one more engagement.
The only way that Vicious wins this is if they build up their beat. They're 70 to it. It's not undoable. That window's a little early. You can just kind of kite it out right now. Oh, but the D.Va's going to run into it.
No ultimates online for Vicious. This is falling apart for them now. Monolith, all they need to do is clean up this fight, and then the reverse sweep is there. It's already 2 members down. Monolith doing everything in their power right now. Make it 3, 4. Where is number 5? They're looking for them, but I don't think it's going to matter here, as Sunless sliding back into the fight. They'll be taken out immediately. Monolith completing the reverse sweep here to win the series.
I don't get it. I don't get it. The window is early, so you just wait a couple of seconds and then you pop out with your D.Va form. But no, you just decide to run directly into a firing squad, essentially. A lot of misplays from there, and it looked a lot closer because of that queen ban. But man, I mean, Monolith was able to secure it, get that reverse sweep. Really good showing from them, but I mean, this has been a roller coaster of emotions for me.
Yeah, back and forth. I mean, like I said, the tale of 2 halves. The first half, Vicious dominated, but Monolith looked like the much better team in these final 3 maps. Vicious, though, they did give themselves a good opportunity. They really did. You could talk about the misplays that Monolith had. I mean, their own amp matrix at their spawn door, essentially. But after that, I mean, R7 able to build it up very quickly. And Vicious had really the opportunity, like you said, to really be able to make sure that the second amp matrix that R7 was able to build up there in that final 2 minutes didn't find the value, but it was just Lucas playing a little bit too aggressive there, getting themselves demeched, and that was the beginning of the end there. If you had that D.Va in that fight for Vicious, you had yourself a good chance, but you didn't there. An unfortunate play, but Monolith keeping their hopes alive here for, I mean, really playoffs right now. A victory here is huge for them. Vicious Unforgiven, though, this is a victory or a loss is going to really come back to bite you. You are looking at putting yourself above 500 with a victory here tonight. Now you're sitting below 500 and probably needing a decent amount of help next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a daunting task for Vicious in order to secure a playoff spot potentially, but Monolith, really good job to them, able to get their reverse sweep done. It took a little bit of time, and those first 2 maps were definitely on the weirder side for sure, but hey, it doesn't matter how the journey was to getting there. It just matters about the destination. It's like the opposite of the saying. You know, it's like it's not about the destination. It's about the journey. Well, here it's about the destination. It's not about the journey. It doesn't matter. It took 5 maps. They got the job done.
Yeah, the journey sometimes is a little bit boring. The destination's always the fun part.
Mm-hmm. And we don't talk about the journey.
Yeah, sometimes you don't want to. And this might be one of those ones here, but again, it was really the big difference there with Blind having to play that hit scan the first 2 maps, and then Blind playing to tank these final 3. I mean, I think they still played a very good hit scan those first 2 maps, but you could see this Monolith team looks completely different when Blind is playing that tank role here, and this was so back and forth. And I mean, right here when Monolith, I'm not going to see it, but right after that fight, Monolith used that amp matrix a little bit early. That could have been something, like you said, that everyone on Vicious kites out, and it's really not an ult fight after that. And you have to say that D.Va might be able to put you over the edge there, but no, somehow, some way, Monolith completes the reverse sweeps, puts themselves in a great spot here now for playoffs. And I mean, you look at the map history here. I mean, dominant first 2 maps, dominant second 2, or maps 3 and 4 there for Monolith. It will say 1-0 here for Monolith in the 3rd map, but it was very, very close here.
Yeah, definitely a close series. I think that both these teams played incredibly well. It just kind of slipped away from Vicious. They're not able to secure the job. They were unfamiliar with how Blind was playing with that Queen. I mean, we look at all these bans. It took them until map 5 to realize, hey, maybe this Queen is something that needs to be dealt with. And it just, it went the way of Monolith at the end of the day. But honestly, I think on any given day, it could have gone either way. It's like Rocky versus Apollo Creed or something like that. Honestly.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, you saw the bans right there, and we talked about a little bit before going into that final map, the fact that Monolith had really just been banning out supports throughout the entirety of the series here, and you saw why they banned out the Ana going into this last map. They really wanted to play the Malga. That Ana's there, that anti-nade, going to be able to make sure they don't get healing, would have made that Malga's life a living hell. So smart bans, honestly, for both teams there. But, I mean, if you're Vicious Unforgiven, I think you really did let this one get away from you. Monolith, you're able to come back, complete the reverse sweep, find yourself a win here. But, everyone, we're going to throw it over to a quick break. When we come back, we're going to have R7S as an interview from your victors of this series of Monolith. So, everyone, stick around. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are pleased to be joined by R7S from our victors tonight of Monolith. Hey, man, congrats on the victory. Congrats on the reverse sweep here. When you guys were down 0-2 in this series, what was the team comms like there? Because I imagine you did not see yourselves on death's door essentially after the first two maps.
Are you asking what the comms were like in the games or after we lost the two maps?
After you lost the two maps.
After we lost the two maps, we said, DM for boost, get out of here. We're putting blind 1800s on tank. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I guess my question that I'll ask you is, it was a little, it was completely dominant on maps 3 and 4, but then once we got to 5 and that Queen ban came out, then it looked a lot closer, even though you guys were able to secure the win at the end. And so I have to ask, is the Queen compositions, your guys' strengths, your guys' strong suits, and like, how are you guys faring in this current meta that we're in?
To be honest, we just have passion and synergy. We were just able to force it into whatever, like, Havana usually isn't a good map for Lucio Queen, but we just forced it anyways.
I mean, I think that's completely fair. Play what you want and prove that you can definitely run it. And so I do have to ask, now that you have this win under your belt, you position yourselves a lot better in terms of going to the playoffs. And so I have to ask, is there any team that you might have maybe gone against or want to go against that could be going also to the playoffs?
To be honest, it's just Primordius Rising. They're the only other team that we really had struggles with. The other team that we lost the map to, we just didn't have our main roster for. So we're pretty confident in our ability to beat every team except them. We just had to get our synergy up a little bit more and then we'll be all good.
Yeah. And it seemed like we saw that here tonight, but I mean, a lot of great plays coming out here. You're on that support line. You're looking at your tank. You're looking at your DPS line here. Who are you normally looking at as that one that's really going to be able to start putting you guys over the edge in a lot of these fights?
What do you mean?
Like, who do you normally look at as a player on your team? Is like, okay, if this person's getting hot, I know that we're in a good spot as a team.
Typically blind 1800s or Shirosa.
Yeah. And we definitely did see that here tonight. Shiro did an incredible job, and Blind, I mean, even when they were playing that DPS line in those first two maps, I thought they were doing really good on it, but that tank, they looked a lot different. But R7S, before we let you go and go celebrate this victory with your team, we want to give you the floor to shout out anyone or anything you want, man.
Okay. Shout out my mother and shout out CPO the God.
All right. I always love people who do shout out their parents here. But R7S, thank you so much for coming in and doing the interview. Again, congratulations on the victory. We will now let you go and celebrate this victory with your team, man.
All right. Have a good day. See ya.
You too, man. All right. Mega Ninja, I mean, we had a great series here tonight. Like I said, coming back from our break after map 4, if you told me we were going to map 5, I would have not believed you after map 2 here. But hey, Monolith, they showed us why they are a team that probably has to be feared a little bit here in the upcoming playoffs. But those 2 losses are definitely going to put them in a spot come those playoffs. They might be going up against, say, that Primordius Rising team that they talked about in that first round, maybe.
Yeah, it definitely makes me excited to watch playoffs, right? I'm super excited to see how these teams perform. You know, we do see how they do in the regular season, but every day it's a different journey. It's a different challenge. You know, sometimes your roster's not available. Sometimes you're sick. You know, sometimes you have to play DPS even though you're the tank player, like Blind. So there's definitely challenges that are present. A lot of the times, and so honestly, being able to adapt to those and show up and, you know, perform well enough to go to playoffs, it makes you wonder what they're going to be like when they do have it all on the line. So playoffs is going to be the true place to put it all on the line for everybody to see. And I mean, this team, I need to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those teams I think you will have to keep an eye out for. Again, like they said, they have 2 losses here, both just unfortunate ways they got those 2 losses. So they could really be a team that maybe should be a little bit higher. So they are going to be one of those sleeper teams come playoffs. But that will pretty much do it for us here tonight at CGL. There'll be a couple more games tomorrow, I imagine, here. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. Just want to give a quick shout out to both Hippie and Hunter Tane for all the behind-the-scenes work on this series here tonight. And thank you so much for coming out. We'll see you again for some more CGL action tomorrow. But until then, hope you have a great night, and see you then.